Hey, this is Cheryl Fields with Lifestyle Wealth Group. And if you really want to learn how to level up your life, you should be listening to the Time to Shine Today podcast with my friend, Scott Ferguson.
Time to Shine Today Varsity Squad. It is Scott Ferguson, and welcome to episode 135 with my really good friend and kind of a neighbor here in South Florida, Cheryl Fields from the Lifestyle Wealth Group. Cheryl says one thing that really sticks out, and that there's three kinds of money. The money you save, the money you spend, and the money that slips through your fingers. And at Lifestyle Wealth Group, she helps you hang on to that money that slips through your fingers. Cheryl is someone that I respect immensely. She's got fantastic free training that you can join if you check the show notes. And she's going to remind us to live up to our potential. So without further ado, break out your notebooks, sit back, relax, because here's my good friend, Cheryl Fields. Hey, time to shine today. Varsity Squad. It is Scott Ferguson, and I have a real treat. I got my good friend Cheryl Fields, who is kind of a neighbor. She lives about 60 miles south of me here in sunny South Florida. I respect her immensely. I kind of tracked her down here on LinkedIn to have her come on and share her story and her aha moment and her fails and how she leveled up into starting Lifestyle Wealth Group and how she helps others level up. And after 35 years as an entrepreneur and an ex-financial advisor, Cheryl has been teaching Americans how to build a rock-solid financial foundation by increasing cash flow, having tax-free income in retirement, that's huge, and leaving a legacy for the next generation. And all of those fit the Time to Shine Today model of leveling up your life. And, you know, money is something that we have to protect. We don't need to hoard it. We got to put it to work for us. It's a good thing. And Cheryl's going to talk to us about that as well. So Cheryl, without further ado, please come on and introduce yourself to the Time to Shine Today squad. But first, what is your favorite color and why?
My favorite color is turquoise.
Wow.
And yeah, it's just a color. I actually love to wear it. And you find out I have a horse, and so she has a turquoise blanket. And, so it's not, there's no rooms in my house painted turquoise, but as far as the color, that's my favorite color.
It's pretty kind of like an oceany color too. And we live the salt life down here. You know,
that's
we
right,
don't really
we do.
go to the beach too much anymore, but
not anymore.
We live the salt life. So that's fantastic. So Cheryl, let's get to a little bit of the origins, if you would, about Lifestyle Wealth Group. But actually take us back before then and what led into it. Because, you know, I was reading your the story then we talked last month, and then in what you have going up, you made some really valid points about you started when the market crashed in a sense, so,
totally.
not to say you weren't money savvy, but it's just like, you're kind of getting in like, oh my, 'cause like real estate agents, they came into the business in 08, 09, and 10. And a lot of them that withstood it are successful now because they didn't know what good was. They thought it was bad. So anyways, can you just give us a start here?
Well, sure. So I'd been an entrepreneur for a really long time, decades, and had businesses all across the country, from Hollywood, California to Hollywood, Florida, and so actually, but my life took a big pivot when I was about 47 years old, late in 2003, and I realized that I knew how business worked, but I didn't know how money worked. And so I decided to become a financial advisor, and I was hired by a global investment firm right out of school. And that was like late in '07. So we know what happened in '08. Of course, everything came crashing down. And I always like to joke that I'm probably the only advisor that didn't lose a client in '08, because luckily I didn't have one. So that was my claim to fame then. But then I went to bed every night and I just said, how could I believe in a system that lets this happen to people, that lets them, follow the best advice, and then like overnight be able to, have something come along that's going to make them lose so much of what they worked all their life to save. And so every night I went to bed, Scott, I was sick at my stomach thinking, this is like my worst entrepreneurial moment, was like, what am I going to do? I've just made the biggest mistake of my life.
Right.
I don't even believe in this predatory system. And every night I would just go to bed and think there has to be something else. And so a few days later, I actually woke up with not an answer to anything, but a really good question, which is, wait, what do wealthy people do? Because they don't start over every time the stock market crashes, and they always have time and money, and not only enough money for their lives, but enough money for the next generation.
Mm.
And I thought, you know what? That's what I want to learn about. That's what I want to know. And so I interviewed wealthy people, and I just, for the last 10 years now, I've called myself an ex-financial advisor, but financial educator, teaching people the strategies that you're not taught by the traditional financial model.
Right. So how were you able to reach out to the wealthy and have them give you their time?
Well, I read the book Think and Grow Rich.
Oh.
And like you just said, the real estate people really didn't know what good times were. So I guess I wasn't afraid. And so, and I found that actually people that, I can't tell you I interviewed super famous people or anything like
Oh.
that, but people that I knew that had money. And I would ask them, hey, so who else do you know that I could talk to? And so they'd give me 2 or 3 people from the country club, and there I had more interviews. And so, I just realized that there was a whole nother way. It's 100 years old, but I realized there was a whole nother way that wasn't necessarily benefiting the banks, Wall Street, and the IRS.
Beautiful. So while you were building your business up, did you encounter any hard times where you had to fail forward?
Yeah, well, for sure. So starting out from scratch like that, and of course not having clients at that point, I was really trying to figure out a way. One of the things that I talked about was about fees in the investment accounts, and how a lot of wealthy people were telling me that that's what they avoided at all costs because it can rob you of like 40% of your wealth.
Mhm.
And so as I was thinking, okay, I have this really great idea. I have all these strategies now I can teach people, but how am I going to go to them and say, hey, don't pay them, but pay me, right?
Right.
And so I was like, now you've created another monster in your life, Cheryl, because now what are you going to do? So I actually went to the companies that I wanted to use, 100-year-old companies, and I asked them if they would pay me instead. And so I don't charge my clients for the advice that I give them, but I still do get paid. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, that was definitely a tough time, because then I thought, oh, what am I going to do now? How am I going to get around this big boulder elephant in the
Sure.
room?
Love it. And so you stepped away from entrepreneurship. What kind of companies did you have?
I started, I got out of high school at 16, and all I wanted to do was be an entrepreneur. That's
Wow.
all I wanted. Yeah. And so I printed up business cards. I went door to door in industrial parks. I
Mhm.
liked graphic design. And back then everything was done by hand, right? No
Mhm.
computers. It was decades before that. And so I just said, I know I'm young, but I can do the work. And if you'll give me a chance, I'd love to try. And if you don't like the work, you don't have to pay me. And so you'll love this story. So this one company, they wanted me to help them do these race engines, right?
Mhm.
And so I did brochures for them for race engines, and I'm not knowing anything about race
I
engines.
was just going to say, do you know anything about them?
No, I just had
Okay.
to do the brochure. I just
Got
had to
it.
take the pictures and make it look good. And so anyway, they by Friday, I had done the project, and then I thought to myself, hey, if I could go get them printed, I could actually mark up the printing. So I went to a printer friend and I said, hey, you bid the job like you regularly would, as if they walk through the door, but let's split the profit. He said, sure. So I look back now, I think, it was great. So then after I got the project done,
Mhm.
um, they said to me, hey, look, the boss is really happy. He'd love for you to come in, and he wants to meet you because he's got other work. And I said, great. Well, the boss was Mario Andretti, and the
Wow.
work I was doing was for the Long Beach Grand Prix.
Oh, wow.
So by now I had turned 17, but I was like, I don't really know what an entrepreneur is, but I really like it, right? They gave me a big fat check,
Right.
and I really never looked back. And so from there I had other graphics. I was an art director for a magazine and a newspaper in Yorba Linda. Then I started a video production company called Banyan in
Okay.
LA, and we did broadcast quality video for ABC television. And then wanted to get out of the city, so we bought a horse ranch and a printing company in Grand Junction, Colorado.
Oh, wow.
And then from there, we decided to move to the state of Maine. It wasn't my choice.
Mhm.
I was married then, and he wanted to go to the state of Maine, so we went there, and that not only ended the marriage, but I published an international business journal in Maine and Atlantic Canada
Right.
because they're geographically linked and
Sure.
economically linked. And then from there, let's see. And so then from there, I went down and I was hired by Gulfstream Aerospace as a
Okay.
consultant.
All right.
That was for a year. That was a year gig to put all of their merchandise, premium merchandise. I was a personal shopper.
Wow.
Uh, with General Dynamics checkbook. It was so much fun, and my office was right there, on the tarmac in Savannah, and it was just great.
Oh, wow.
But so from there, then that's when my life took a pivot, and that's when I decided to become a financial advisor.
So you knew a lot about the business, but you didn't know how money worked. So when you got the education with that, what led into the inception of the Lifestyle Wealth Group?
Well, because I felt that, so what I feel like is really wrong with the system is that, that you were basically told there's two kinds of money: money you save and money you spend. So all of the money, it's kind of just one or the other.
Right.
And I felt like that was a big gap because there's so much money. I say there's three kinds of money: the money you save, the money you spend, and the money that slips through your fingers. And so I help people bring back the money that slips through their fingers. And so with that, my whole thing is not how for so many people, it doesn't work to put your money into a place that you can't use it till you're 59 and a half. There's only 11 years that the government lets you use your money without penalty. And then when you get into retirement, they tell you, you have the RMDs, you have to take out your money.
Right.
And so there's so many reasons that cutting off that cash flow as an entrepreneur, right? Cutting off that cash flow is why like 9 out of 10 businesses go out of business.
Right.
And I thought, what if we could mobilize this and have them be able to use that cash, borrow from themselves, pay themselves back. And that's what wealthy people do. And so that's, that's what I got so excited about, for sure.
Right. So did you have a mentor that
I had a lot of
you said you
mentors.
were in 2003, which you said it, so I'm throwing out there, you were 47 then, or?
I think that's the math is right. Yeah.
Okay. So 47. So is there a mentor that kind of took you under the wing as you kind of started into financial advising and started the Lifestyle Wealth Group?
Absolutely. So the reason I gave the name, the company Lifestyle Wealth Group, is because I believe that our money should be used for our lifestyle. And it doesn't mean we're giving up retirement. It just means we're going to be guaranteed tax-free income in retirement, but we can use our money now for the things that we need instead of paying the bank all the interest, right? And so so I had mentors all the way along. I was able to go and take a couple different courses from people that were already doing what I was doing. I mean, like I said, this is nothing new, right?
Sure.
But teaching these strategies. And so, there were several people that I studied under and several people that helped me along and helped me get started. But I just like I had done before, I just kind of went out there and started pounding the pavement and speaking wherever I could, podcasting, guesting, television when I had it, and I've been doing that, live streaming now. So it's really my goal and my mission is to get this out to as many people as possible. Because right now we have all this tax money that's getting spent. We're trillions and trillions more dollars in debt. And that's only going to come back to the people that pay taxes, which is people like you and me.
Right. And so I pay as little as I can, but
we all follow the rules.
We all follow the rules. So
but wait, they've changed the rules.
Yeah, they do. And you need someone like that to be able to guide the ship and whatnot. So what do you think makes a great financial educator then?
Well, I think just showing people that there's other ways to do things. Most of the people, I do this 4-day live boot camp, and most people are like, I just show them, I lay it out step by step. Here's what we've been told and here's what we've been taught. But listen, does it really make sense? And what other options are there out there? But again, like most people are really shocked to hear that, like on the front cover of the Wall Street Journal, January 2nd of 2017, they said the fathers of the 401k said actually that it was never meant to be a retirement vehicle for the American family.
Right.
They said we tried to stop it during the Reagan years, but we couldn't.
Right.
And like, you're just like, so they've known. And so for me, I just feel like, it might not be for everybody, but I tell you, Mike, I have clients all across the country, and for them, it's been a godsend. I mean, I can just tell you story after story of how people's lives have changed.
Love it. So if I'm out at a networking event, which I'm allowed to do a little bit here in South Florida, or even virtually networking, and I'm shutting my mouth and listening, what kind of things might they say that would make them a good prospect, referral, or a connection for Lifestyle Wealth Group?
That's a great question. Wow. Thank you for asking that. Well, the whole thing is people that say, I'm tired of the market, I'm tired of the ups and downs of the market. I've lost so much money again. And again, like I say to people, look, I saw the market crash in 2008. I've seen it crash again. And I've only been doing this for 12 years.
Sure.
So like, how many times do you want to see your money go down down the drain. So anybody that's saying basically, I'm tired of this, I'm tired of the fees, I'm tired of the, insecurity, because, we like accounts that never go backwards. And so, that's what Warren Buffett says are the 2 rules of investing. Rule number 1 is never let your money go backwards. And rule number 2 is never forget rule number 1. So those are words that I live by. So again, Robert Kiyosaki says it's not how much you make, but how much you keep, how hard it works for you, and how many generations you keep it for. And so people that subscribe to that type of thinking are absolutely my ideal clients.
Love it. So let's get in our DeLorean with Marty McFly from Back to the Future. Let's go back to the 22-year-old Cheryl. I don't know if your last name was Fields. Let's go back to the 22-year-old Cheryl. What kind of knowledge nuggets are you dropping on her that would maybe help her shorten her learning curve with the wisdom you have now?
Well, at 22, I was having kids. I had 2 little baby girls at that point, 18 months apart. And I think the wisdom, I think, one of the things is just never give up and always look for opportunity. I think I just have a serial heart for being an entrepreneur. I've always got ideas. And I think I would have encouraged myself to take a little more chance, take a little more, be a little more, I want to say intuitive, or be a little bit more dedicated to finding opportunities. I probably could have had other businesses that I don't even know I could have had right now.
And be more mindful, I guess, of what's going on around you and see what the opportunities might lie and taking up on that. I love that. So we talk a lot about the dash here at Time to Shine today. And I want to know how you want your dash remembered, that little mark in between your incarnation date and your expiration date, your life date and death date. How does Cheryl want her maybe legacy statement, or how does she want that dash remembered?
I would just love to be known for somebody who wanted to go out and educate people. My heart is really in it. My mission's in it. I'm at a place in life where I can give back. And I would just love to be viewed as somebody who went out there, and I used to get on airplanes and fly all over the place, but now I do it like we're doing it right now, right?
Sure.
And I would just love to be remembered as a heartfelt woman. I'm a mother and a grandmother of 4. And I would love to just be remembered as a woman who stood up for the people that just didn't want to be a part of the predatory system. And that wanted to create a legacy, wanted to enjoy their lives. And I would just love to be known as somebody who helped that happen for them.
Okay. That's beautiful. And you're a total go-giver. A lot of the stuff you kind of give away for free as well.
I give it all away for free.
Sure.
My boot camp is free. Yeah.
Right. So when someone that approaches you or approaches a Lifestyle Wealth Group, is there any good question that you wish they would ask you but never do?
I think that so many people are stuck in just there's one way to do things. I would love for them to just say, hey, is there really another way that you can do this stuff?
Yeah.
And so I would just love that question. But again, I have to wait for them to ask it.
Exactly. I would ask something along those lines, and also to tell me about how you came about being able to hold on to that money that slips through the fingers, and see, but tell me like a nightmare, tell me what happened. So that's what I like it in real estate. When I teach people how to invest in real estate. So
yes, I know.
Absolutely. What is one thing that Cheryl knows for sure?
Oh, I know for sure that we are all here to give and contribute to each other. I know that it takes all of us, we all have different opinions on things, and, we all have different ways of looking at things. We're all in different stages of our life. But I believe that, we're all here to learn from each other, or learn, either learning from me or I'll learn from other people. So it's just generational. And so I feel that that's really one of the most important things, is just that we're all in this together. And, I just appreciate so many people that have come alongside me and helped me, and I want to pass that on.
Love that. So if everything just blew up on you and, you lost basically everything, what would your first step be to do to rebuild or get back?
I have no doubt. I think one thing as an entrepreneur, and especially now that I understand about finance, I have no doubt I would just find a new idea. I mean, a business, I tell this to people all the time, a business is just an exchange of value. So I would find something that needed doing in the world, and that would be my next business. So I wouldn't be down for long.
I cannot believe you have not read Atlas Shrugged. That is the
Well,
whole
I'm going to go.
the business is just an exchange of value. It's what you have and what other people have, and you exchange it. There was no money back then, for at a certain
Well,
time.
there may not be money again. So we need to.
True. Right. Absolutely. So what are three things that Cheryl can't live without then?
Okay, can't live without family for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I have two daughters. One's here, and she's married, and I have four grandkids here in Parkland, not too far away. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, not seeing them now except on FaceTime, which is killing
Sure.
me. I can't live without just enjoying my life. I have a horse. I love to ride. I love to ride my bike in the morning, and put something on my. Sometimes it's music, sometimes it's study stuff, books on Audible,
Sure.
but I can't live without like the balance of work and life. I
Okay.
think that's really important to me. I don't work. I'm not an 80-hour person at all. Until this COVID, I would take Wednesday afternoons off and go. My grandson is in a bilingual class, and I speak
Mm-hmm.
Spanish, so I would go help them with homework. Wednesday afternoons were my day off and my afternoon off, and I love that kind of stuff. Now, of course, we're not able to do that anymore. So that's the kind of thing I couldn't really live without. I'm not sure. That's really the most important thing. And then my other daughter's in New York City, and of course, family is
So you
just
got family, horses, reading, community. So that's what I'm hearing.
exactly,
Love it.
exactly. And I
Love
think
it.
fitness too. I really enjoy getting out and pumping my bike in the
That's like
morning.
7. I said 3, Cheryl. Come on.
Well,
Now.
sorry.
No, I love it that you're so well-rounded and put together. So what would your definition of a life well lived be?
Feeling like you've lived to your potential, no matter what that is.
Love it. Love it. I always, we talk, I'm going to talk to the squad here out there. I always say that if you're not living to your potential, it's a sin,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm
Yeah.
not saying so much as a religious context about it, but, sin is a Greek word. The origin of it means missing the mark. So if you're
Mm-hmm.
not living to your potential, you're missing
Right.
the mark every day. And why not? We're not here for that long. Might as well hit your mark as much as you can. So Cheryl, as we wind things down a little bit, we go into what we call our leveling up lightning round. And you and I could talk 15, 20 minutes on each one of these questions, but my producer's flashing 5. You got 5 seconds, no explanations. And all
Okay.
of them could be answered that way. You ready?
I guess so.
Here we go. What's the best leveling up advice you've ever received?
Just to go out and live to your full potential.
Love it. Share one of your personal habits that contributes to your success.
Bike riding in the morning, 6 o'clock out there.
Love that. So not what you're reading now, not the flavor of the month, but recommend a book to say, Scott, you have to read this. I'm in the doldrums. I'm coming to you. Like, what's the good book you would recommend?
You said not a book that I'm just reading now. I read it like 10 years ago. I've read it twice already, but I'm reading it again. It's The Alchemist by Paul Coelho.
Yeah, absolutely. What emoji do you use the most when you're texting?
I got to give you 2. I use the hibiscus for Florida,
Okay.
the huggy face, and then a hibiscus. And that's like my signature sign off.
Love it. Now, not wisdom wise, but physical wise. I know you feel great. If you could go back and be one age for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Wow.
Physical wise.
Man, I was in pretty good shape honestly about like 2 years ago. I was doing Pilates all the time. I really enjoyed that.
That's your best shape. Come on. Like mine's 32. I was a machine.
I wasn't into exercise then.
Okay. All right.
I was chasing kids around and, doing other stuff. So I don't know. I'm not really sure I've ever thought about that, but I really would love to be back in Pilates.
It's time to shine. You make you think. So what's your favorite charity and or organization you like to give your time and or money to?
I love the Boys and Girls Club.
Beautiful.
I worked for them for about 3 years in Los Angeles, and it's just a fabulous organization.
Love it. Yeah, I give a little bit to them every year as well. So last question, it's kind of hard, but what's the best decade of music? 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s?
80s.
80s. Big hair, don't care. I love it. That transition is good times. Good times. So how can we find you?
Okay, great. So, of course, we've mentioned lifestylewealthgroup.com. That's the name of the company. But a couple things. So you can connect with me on Facebook. I have a group there called Prosperity Seekers. And you'll see my picture there in the header. And I go live every Friday and talk about current issues in finance or current things going on in the world. So it's a free Facebook group. So it's Prosperity Seekers on Facebook.
Okay.
But then I'd love to offer your listeners a free pass to my boot camp. It's a 4-day live boot camp. I do it Monday through Thursday. It's 45 minutes at 11 o'clock Eastern. And again, it's free, it's live, and I go over all of these strategies that I've been talking to you about. I teach all of that in a 4-day, 4 45-minute sessions. And so that's what I'm really excited about, because I've been doing that now. This is 5 or 6 times I've done it, but it's just a great way for people to really understand how we've been deceived and what we can look forward to as far as truth about money goes.
And you're doing that for free then?
I am.
And that's August, or no, that's every day. Is that every?
Well, no, it's not. It's actually, I think it's the 24th, I believe. If that's the Monday, is the next. 27th is the Monday, I think. So it's Monday through Thursday.
August. Oh, yes. No, it's in July.
August.
Okay. Folks, I'm going to make sure that we're on point with Cheryl, and we'll have it in the show notes below. So go ahead and scroll down to the show notes. And so, Cheryl, leave us with one last knowledge nugget that you want us to take with us, internalize, and take action on outside of living to your potential.
So I think that what we have to really take heart to right now is, as you know, the government's passed out, so much money, trillions of dollars. And we have to really be careful now about taxes. And it's going to come back around to bite us. And it's just really, really important. I think any entrepreneur needs to be, learning as much as they can so that they can protect what they have and protect their business going forward.
I love that. And Squad, you've just been witness to basically a free masterclass with my good friend here, Cheryl. I mean, I took my version of notes, which is a full page, and I hope that you had too. And trust me, I would have kept writing, but I am job is to also to ask the questions. But, she was someone that knew how to grow a business, but she didn't know how money works. So she got herself educated. Okay. And that's what she'll help you do. To help get educated about money. You have your save money, spend money, and the money that slips through your fingers. And at Lifestyle Wealth Group, they kind of help you out to make sure that less of that money slips through your fingers. If you're tired of the yo-yo, up and down, the insecurity, make sure you're reaching out to Cheryl. She reminds us that the wealthy don't panic. They're already prepared for any scenario that really comes up, unless it's complete Armageddon, then we're all gone anyways. So, but she believes in, don't go backwards with your money. And she referenced Warren Buffett's, that's the first rule. And the second rule is rule number 1. So, she reminded herself, that she went back, she would be like, never give up and always be mindful for opportunities. She's a fantastic financial go-giver. I'll add financial in there as well. She wants us all to give and contribute to each other. And just a reminder that business is an exchange of value. It's not like one has to go over another, one has to win. It could be a collaboration. And Cheryl is the perfect collaborator. And she's healthy, she's wealthy, she's leveling up her life, and she's part of our squad now. So Cheryl, thank you so much for coming on.
It's been such a thrill to be here with you, Scott. And thank you so much for asking me.
We'll have you on again soon. Okay,
I'd love it. Thanks. We'll talk soon. Stay safe out there.
Bye. Hey, thanks so much for listening to this episode of Time to Shine Today podcast. Proudly brought to you by Sutter & Nugent Real Estate Excellence, who can be reached at 561-249-7266 and online at www.sutterandnugent.com. If you are a business owner or professional who would like to be interviewed on Time to Shine Today, please visit timetoshinetoday.com/guest. If you like this episode, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcasts. There's a link in the show notes to our website. Also there, you will see our recommended resources. We hope that you will support our show by supporting them. If you like what you've been listening to, it'd be great if you could just give us a 5-star rating and tell your friends how to subscribe while you're at it. I'm your host, Scott Ferguson, and until next time, let's level up. It's our time to shine.